I spent the day yesterday scrubbing the roof real well and inspecting all of the seals. So today I'm going to do some resealing of the roof. So everybody make sure that you inspect your roof, and I'll show you the kind of stuff that I'm worried about. And this one, you see this, I've got to replace this cap because it's drying up too much and a piece cracked off of it yesterday. This sealant here looks like it's in pretty good shape still. It's starting to get some little micro cracks in it. I call them micro cracks just because they're real small. So those are the kind of thing that I'm looking at. And no matter what I do to this thing, I can't get it to come clean. So since I'm going to replace it, it won't be a problem. But you can see, like right here, there's a little bit of a crack that's starting to show up there. So I will be doing some resealing of the roof today. There's a good example of a crack. You see it right there. And so those are the kind of things that you got to watch out for. Right now, nothing is leaking, but that's why I want to seal it up before it starts to leak. So just got a whole bunch of those little micro cracks all over the place where just years down the road, the sealant has started to leak, or started to crack, not leak, fortunately. So I'll be doing it, and I'll let you guys see after I've done some of it as well. I've got a bunch of tubes of self-leveling sealant that I'll end up using up here. So as hard as I worked yesterday, this was as clean as I could get this stuff up here. You can see here's a couple of little cracks right in here starting to show, and just a bunch of little things here and there. So I'll be doing some reapplication on everything today. Since we have a TPO roof, this is what I'm using. The TPO roof is made by Alpha Systems. Alpha Systems is now owned by Lippert, by the way. But we're using the Alpha Systems self-leveling lap sealant, and it's beige because our roof is beige. I have been known to use white when I haven't been able to find the beige, but this is what I'm using up here. So, and I've got a bunch of tubes that I'm going through as I'm doing this, and I will show you some of the results in a minute. This is one of the areas that I have resealed. While it's self-leveling, it doesn't smooth out perfectly well, but it does a pretty good job for the most part. So I do spin it around sometimes and try to blend pieces in. So I have been known for using too much sealant, but I think I would rather use too much than not enough. So I'll show you in a second how I'm actually applying it. Just using a caulk gun and set it to a 1/4 inch. So here I'll show you how this works. Just start running it along where I want to run it, and then I'll run it back and forth. This will actually level itself out for the most part, but I usually will help it some by kind of doing this by mixing the runs together. It's not the neatest job in the world, but like I said, it does kind of level itself out as well. So as this sets up a little bit more, you can already see how it's starting to level itself out there. So it's and I'll show you what that looks like as it starts to set up. It skins over pretty quickly. So here you can see This is that area I was working on around the skylight. And while it doesn't totally level itself out, it does a pretty good job. So it's not always pretty, but it's functional. So I wish it was a little smoother, but only way to make it smoother would have been to have a huge bead and use about 6 times as much caulk. So, but yeah, it looks pretty good. I said caulk, I meant the self-leveling sealant. So, but I'm pretty happy with the way it's been working. So I think it's going to work well. Well, here's the finished product. You can see, got everything. I'm not showing the front because it's already, it had been done recently by folks up at Affinity. But you can see everything looks pretty good. Not perfect, but it'll work. So we should be sealed up pretty good for a while. Shouldn't have to worry about anything else for a while. See, the back came out pretty good. This is where I had the most little micro cracks, was in that back sealant, and I think it was just the sealant had gotten old. It had been several years since it had been up here, and with us having been out in the desert sun the past couple of years, I think it just started to crack. I had been checking it pretty frequently. I recommend everybody does the same thing. So while I'm up here, I'll show you guys a view from the sky or from the top of our rig, really, not from the sky, of our campground. We're in Summerfield. That's Summerfield, Florida. You can see we have a pretty good amount of space between our sites. Our sites are all pavers, and we are really enjoying it here. So with that being said, I hope you guys appreciate this video, and we'll see you around a campfire. Bye. Hi everybody, I wanted to let you know that when you're up on the roof and you're resealing everything, you've got to make absolutely sure that when you're going back, particularly when you're filming things, that you go back and you're careful where you're stepping. I've been up on the roof so many times recently that I didn't even think about the fact that it was still wet, and I managed to step in one of the spots. So I have a casualty. That's the bottom of my flip-flop. So it'll come off once it dries a little bit more. But and make sure that you don't step in it after you've gone and done it all. Bye, guys.